Alright, so we're going to discuss Damien Hirst. Who is Damien Hirst? Damien Hirst was born on June 7th, 1965 in Bristol, United Kingdom. Although he grew up in Leeds, he moved to London in the early 80s, where he attended college at Goldsmith College. He organized a student show called Freeze, which later allowed him access to a very popular group of young artists, they went for the name Young British Artists. They were known for very unhinged, dramatic, and shocking work of art, which normally appeared weird. So being part of the Young British Artists, Damien Hirst was influenced to create art representing death. He has the mindset that death is the most definite thing in our lives, but he feels that society really doesn't pay much attention to the subject. Some of his known work based on his bibliography is the Mother and Child, The Impossibility of Death in the Mind of the Living, Away from the Flock. And so although some of the creations above are his primary work, Hirst also focuses on death, psychology, loyalty, religion, and life through unconventional media. Although others would say that Damien Hirst is very unhinged and controversial, it has landed him, a very wealthiest artist in the United Kingdom. So this piece of art here is Damien's first sculpture. It's called The Impossibility of Death in the Mind of Someone Living. The medium used here is mostly glass, stainless steel, perspex, acrylic paint, a real-life shark, and formaldehyd solution. In this exhibit, Hirst challenges his audience to comprehend death. Even though we are face to face with a dead animal, we are unable to fathom the eternity of death. In this exhibit, Damien Hirst expresses psychological analysis. Psychological analysis is pretty much an analysis investigating an artwork through consideration of the state of mind. This is Damien Hirst Away from the Flock, which was produced in 1994. This medium is glass, stainless steel, perspex, acrylic paint, sheep, and formaldehyd solution. In this exhibit, we see the sheep alive and moving. Damien Hirst represents religion as God is represented by a sheep in religion. However, in Christianity, the title, which is Away from the Flock, typically means to leave the protection of God. So Damien Hirst expresses religion using iconography in this image, in this sculpture, This exhibit here is called Damien Hirst. It's The Mother and Child, which was produced in 1993. The medium is glass, stainless steel, perspex, acrylic paint, a cow, and formaldehyd solution. In this representation, Damien Hirst references a mother and child divided, which is one of the oldest icons of Western Catholicism art. In this exhibit, Damien Hirst expresses religion using iconography. An iconography pretty much is a study of the symbolic meaning of an artwork, of the general study of symbolism. So the symbolism is mother and child. In this form of art is the Trinity, pharmacology, physiology, pathology. This one was produced in 2000. The medium used here is glass, fiberboard, wood, steel, and plastic. In this exhibit, we see the cabinets contain medical demonstration models made of plastic, leather, and wood. In this sculpture, Damien Hirst embodies the equation of medical science, with Christianity, but he fails to deliver any real redemption for our common fate, which is death. And this one is Forms Without Life. It was produced in 1991. The medium here is fiberboard, cabinet, melamine, wood, steel glass, and seashells. In this exhibit, we see beautiful shells, which are nicely polished. In this exhibit, Damien Hirst expresses death by by removing the shells from their natural environment. So these shells were once alive, and he has removed the shells and has put them into this beautiful vase. And he pretty much expresses death by saying, this was once a living creature and now it's polished, and this is the aftermath of it, meaning that their aftermath of death may be something hopeful. In this photography, you see it's named With Deadhead. The medium was used as a photograph, black and white on a paper on aluminum. Damien Hirst presents his young self next to a corpse. We see him smile while the corpse's mouth is sealed shut. Here, Damien Hirst exhibits death, suggesting compliment humor in the fear of horror. So he's expressing death in a very humorous way. That's why you see him smiling there. But it also is terrifying at the same time, because you see a corpse which is sealed, and it seems that horrific and horrendous. In this exhibit, you see a pharmacy. This one is called Pharmacy, which was produced in 1991. The medium is glass, faced, particle board, painted MDF, beach, ramen, wooden dolls, aluminum, pharmaceutical packaging, desk, office chairs, footstools, bottles, colored water, insectary, medical textbooks, stationery, bowls, resign, honey, and honeycomb. In this portrait, Damien Hirst illustrates the danger. In this exhibit, we see the theme of medicine and drugs. Damien Hirst represents the structure of redeeming life. However, these attempts to think away around death are eternally doomed to failure. This one is actually called Controlled Substance. It was produced in 1994. The medium here is acrylic paint and canvas. In this portrait, Damien Hirst illustrates the danger of drugs, specifically drugs that are controlled and not available to the public. This illustration is Monument of the Living and the Dead, which is produced in 2006. The medium here are butterflies and household gloss paint on 2 canvases. In this canvas, Damien Hirst represents the difference of life and death. White here represents life, and black represents death. So when we think of a butterfly, we think happy. So I want to say that he's pretty much telling his audience that whether you're alive or dead, people still are happy at the end. So whatever the future holds for you, when we pass, he's signifying that it's something hopeful and happy, and nothing fearful. This exhibition is called Life Without You, which was produced in 1991. The medium is shells, steel, wood, and melamine. In this exhibit, Damien Hirst represents death and the possibility of some hope despite the bleakness. So here again, we see these beautiful shells that are polished. Again, these were once living animals, and so he has taken these animals out of their natural habitat and has polished them referencing again life and death. So he's saying that, although these animals were living one day and now they're deceased, the way that they are beautiful is representing hope of the afterlife. The acquired inability to escape, 1991. The medium here is glass, steel, silicon, rubber, formica, fiberboard, chair, ashtray, lighter, and cigarettes. And this exhibit, Damien Hirst represents death by referencing entrapment. He wants a glimpse of what it feels like to die. So he once said that when we die, we're gonna be somewhere every day, eternal. So he's referencing that when he dies, he wants to be somewhere where he has accessibility to cigarettes, and if Damien Hirst, he has an obsession with cigarettes. This one is called Untitled, which was produced in 1992. The medium is screen print on paper. Damien Hirst exhibits natural science. As you can see, different stones here that come naturally from Earth, and so he's his theme is natural science, and he's just representing different stones that we have that come naturally from Earth. This is one of Damien Hirst's most modern popular sculpture. It's called For the Love of God. Damien Hirst represents death as usual in this exhibit. He wants to remind the audience of their ultimate mortality. So we see a beautiful sculpture with diamonds, and he's pretty much, again, just referencing death. And that does conclude the PowerPoint. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes. I have a question.
Yes, what is your question?
What is Damien Hirst's relationship with religion?
His relationship with religion, he did grow up in going to boarding school, which was a Catholic school, and so that's why he references many of his artwork towards religion, because his experience wasn't really a good experience.
Okay. I have another question too.
Yes.
Why is Damien Hirst fascinated so much by death?
He's fascinated by death, again, as we discussed today. He feels that people just push death to the side. They brush it under the rug and pretend that it's not there. And so he wants his viewers to accept death, to accept reality, and that's why most of his art represents death, is because he's trying to speak to his audience by informing them that death is gonna happen one day, whether we like it or not, and whether it's gonna be a beautiful thing or if it's gonna be a horrendous thing, it's destined to happen to all of us. And so that's why he's very intrigued by death. Most of his themes are visuals of representation of death. Any other questions? Okay, well, that concludes the PowerPoint in my video.